Now, since you guys have been asking me to take a look at new monitors, particularly here in the studio, because what we use is a little bit old, I've been looking for the monitor that provides a whole new experience. And today, I think I've found it. Nope, it's not this one. It's actually this one, and it's ultra-wide. Now, to get a new gaming experience from a monitor, I thought what better way to do it than actually going bigger. And instead of bigger in terms of overall size, bigger in width ways. So I decided to take a look at some ultra-wide monitors, and big thank you to AMZFAST who actually sent this monitor across for us to take a look at, because they must have felt that we needed something a little bit more special here in the studio. And special is another word for this, because this is absolutely amazing. Now, I've never used a one ultra-wide monitor before, so I didn't know what to expect when it turned up. The box was very large, of course, but inside of it, I didn't think that this monitor was going to be this big. It is the AMZFAST AMZG34C5Q. I know we really hate monitor names because they really don't tell us much about them. It is a 30-inch UWQHD monitor, which means it's an ultra-wide QHD. It has a maximum resolution of 3440 by 1440, so that is a 1440p screen that's been extremely stretched sideways, which actually isn't too bad because I do tend to play most of my games at 1440p. It has a refresh rate of a whopping 240 Hz, which is probably the biggest thing that I've got or ever had in the studio, so hopefully we can get some pretty decent gaming off this, although we will need a system that can actually push the monitor to that level. But then, of course, we've always got a downside for a few of you out there, because this is only a VA panel. Now, VA doesn't bother me too much. I have had older VA monitors in the past which do have a bit of a phase across it. You don't really get that much black on them. They tend to be a little bit grey, but this one actually is a much more modern tech than what I've used in the past, and it looks absolutely fantastic. So there was somebody that actually commented on a recent video that VAs were the best monitors out there. I'm not quite sure that I fully agree with that, but of course, VA technology has moved on as well, and this one looks absolutely fantastic. But I've never actually gamed on an ultra-wide monitor before, and I'm really looking forward to the experience of doing this. Using your general stuff like Windows and stuff like that looks absolutely amazing on it. You can get a lot done, even down to things like editing. I do a lot of video editing, of course, because you're watching a video now that I have recently edited, and an ultra-wide monitor is perfect for people editing because you can get a full timeline across the screen. So I was even super impressed with this monitor before I even started gaming on it more than anything. I actually really like the design of this monitor. It's got some really cool features. The stand is very basic. You do have a tilting capability, so you can actually tilt the monitor up and down, but there is no height adjustment, so you need to make sure that it's on your desk perfectly fine, and probably stick a pack of paper underneath it like we used to if you need it any higher. I would probably recommend you installing it onto an arm on a desk, although you will need something strong to be able to do that, because even though the monitor doesn't weigh too much, it is actually a bit of an awkward size to get kind of mounted onto things. But as long as you don't touch your screen when you're doing it or damage anything, you should be okay. I also like the fact that they've got the little buttons down here. They've kind of labeled the buttons on the monitor to be able to change things. It's got pretty much every feature that you could ever want, from FreeSync, all that kind of stuff. You've got gaming mode, you've got all that kind of stuff. But I like it when monitor buttons are underneath here, because it means I can easily reach them. A lot of monitors nowadays come with a little toggle switch on the back, which is fine. It's like a little joypad, but I tend to be hunting around trying to find it, and I always forget where they are because we've got so many monitors and they're always in a different place. So having the buttons underneath here really helps me out. So if you are somebody that likes that, they've kind of thought about that, and you've got that too. It's got all the inputs that you could possibly want: 2 HDMIs, a DP. It's also got some kind of weird audio connection, which is fine, I suppose. And then of course you've got the power connection, and it uses its own external brick, so there's nothing built into it, which actually keeps the weight down a little bit, and that's probably a good thing, particularly if you are going to be mounting it on the arm. But of course, I want to see how well my gaming experience changes on one of these, so we need to kick up a game and see what kind of performance we get out of the game, because it is true that because this is just a 1440p monitor, but it's super stretched, the extra resolution will affect the performance of games, but hopefully not too much, so I can actually get a pretty decent experience off of it. It's okay if it does, because I've got some reasonably high-end systems that I can hook up to this, but I think today we're going to actually hook up a mini PC and play one of my favourite games of all time. And the reason for that is because whenever I get something new that can provide a new experience, I like to replay that game. And that game is Half-Life 2. Ever since 2004, when this game was released, I have been absolutely in love with it, and I have tried it on every combination that you can possibly think of. They originally released it in a low resolution. I played it then. I played it in higher resolutions with higher settings. I've played the new enhanced version. I tend to replay this game very often, and especially when I can experience it in a different way. I even played this game in VR with the unofficial mod, and it was absolutely fantastic. So I really wanted to try it on the ultra-wide monitor to see if it would bring a whole new experience to this game to me again and really bring some love out for it. And so far, I'm super impressed. This game is a fantastic game, and this monitor is really giving it a true demonstration. It actually supports this game in native resolution on this monitor, and even though we are running it at full 3440 by 1440, it's running beautifully smooth even on this tiny little mini PC. We're currently getting an average of 165 frames per second with a 1% low of 99, which means we are getting a good experience across the 230 Hz monitor. It is using the latest DP connection as well, which I don't tend to use. I tend to use HDMIs more than anything, but I really wanted to kind of see this game in action on this kind of monitor with that kind of refresh rate, and so far it's not disappointing. For those of you who've never played Half-Life 2, you're in for a treat because the game is usually on sale for around 99p, so you can pick it up super cheap. And this is the latest enhanced version. They've made a few tweaks to it over the years and kind of given us a true enhanced version out. It's not graphically massively different, but it is actually a little bit different when it comes to some of the models and some of the lighting effects. I think it really does hold up in time. It also is fully compatible with controllers, which is exactly what I'm playing on today, and it's just so much fun to play. Playing it on this monitor is really providing a new experience throughout. I'm absolutely loving this all the way through. I think this is really good so far. It really has a very clear picture. It's the quality of it, the blacks on it are really nice. I'm not used to a VA panel that actually looks this good. Usually, like I said before, they are a little bit washed out and blacks are a little bit grey, but nothing on this one. This one looks fantastic. The blacks are black, the greys are grey. So I think overall AMZFAST have done an amazing job of this monitor, and it really doesn't cost a lot either. I was really surprised at how much this monitor cost. If you do go for an IPS model, you will pay for the nose for it, even a 34-inch like this one with a 1440p resolution. But with this VA panel here, you can pick it up for around £260. I couldn't believe that price when I actually looked it up compared to the quality of the picture that you're getting. I thought it was going to cost a lot more than that, but no, even a budget gamer nowadays that wants to invest in a good monitor can actually pick one of these up for a really good price. So I think that what I'm going to do is not ruin too much of this game throughout. I want to play this in full detail, so I think going forward, where you're seeing this monitor now is where it's going to live. I'm going to build myself a new little gaming corner here in the studio, something that you can see on pretty much all of the cameras that we've got rolling, and hopefully we can do a few more live tests like this, particularly here, and you'll be able to see some great things. You'll see it in the background of videos going forward, and I'm just going to use it for, like I say, a little bit of a corner for gaming, play some old retro games like this, hopefully with a controller because I don't have a desk here for a keyboard and mouse. But anyway, this is the AMZFAST really long named monitor. I am super impressed, and we should definitely check it out if you want a widescreen monitor or an ultra widescreen monitor just like this. So there we go. I'm not going to spoil Half-Life 2 much more for me. I'm going to play the game all the way through and get the new experience on the ultra wide monitor. It is a fantastic monitor, although this little mini PC is struggling here with a very old benchmark from Unigen. It's around 23 frames per second at the moment, so it really doesn't like that kind of resolution, particularly for things like this. But for older games like Half-Life 2, it's going to be perfectly fine for me. I like to play older games, and if I can now experience them in a brand new way, I'm definitely going to do that. Definitely go check this monitor out. I will leave a link in the description below for anybody that wants to go and do that, because I think a monitor, now playing with several of them over the last month or so, is really the best investment that you can make, particularly with the price of graphics cards at the moment. You're not going to get a much better experience when updating anything that was produced over the last 3 years to something new. You might as well just keep your older graphics card and get a very good monitor instead, and kind of future-proof yourself with that as well. Being a 240 Hz panel, and of course being 34 inches on the ultra wide, it's definitely going to be a bit of a future-proof monitor, because most games now are coming out at 60 FPS, particularly on most hardware anyway. So when hardware does kind of catch up a little bit, this monitor is going to be the best thing for you. So there you go, the AMZFAST 34-inch ultra wide monitor. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of content, and let me know in the comments below, are there any other types of monitors or displays that you want us to take a look at? I'm not an expert in this kind of stuff, I will admit. One of the things that really did did annoy me on this monitor is the fact that it doesn't have speakers, or it doesn't seem to have speakers. I can't find it, any settings for it anywhere. I like to have the speakers on monitors so I can at least get some sound out of it, but I'm gonna have to find a headset for it. But apart from that, another big thank you to AMZFAST for sending this monitor across. I am really impressed with it. You should definitely go check it out, and I'm sure as always, I'll catch you guys in the next one.